the soon-to-be greatest Asian basketball player of all time, presents to you guys why there aren't more Asian basketball players in the NBA, and how I'm going to make the NBA, and how I solve the riddle that prevents many Asians from being able to get there.
Price says white American college stars have not been able to adjust to the pro game, in which speed, quickness, and hops is the holy trinity.
Yeah, we look at athleticism. That's a priority in today's NBA.
So I'm saying this with the utmost respect for every single human being in every ethnicity, but the best of the best of the best black athletes are some of the best athletes in history, and they comprise of a lot of the NBA. So for the best white athletes and for the best, Asian athletes to crack that, it's really, really difficult. And so it would have to be an Asian athlete that has, freak of nature athleticism, unless, of course, they're like over 7 feet or something like that. That also has great basketball skills, that also, grew up with great competition and got to put all that together. There would have to be, someone like that, like Jeremy Lin. But there's just not a lot of Asians that have all of those things, combined at this moment. So that's the reason. I was a Division III level basketball recruit back when I was in college, and these are some of my highlights from back then. As soon as these highlights are over, I will show the recruitment proofs of that. But if you just go through these highlights right now, you'll be able to tell that I have basketball skills of, ball handling, shooting, and knowing how to play defense. Instead of going to any of those Division III schools, I instead tried out at a much, much higher level, in which at the tryout I held every player I guarded scoreless while guarding them 94 feet, made every three I took, brought the ball up and didn't turn the ball over not once the entire tryout, and opportunistically drove to the basket to find open guys on the perimeter. And after that tryout, the coaching staff told me that they thought I had skills, but that they picked the guy that tried out last year because they were more comfortable with him since they got 2 evaluations of him compared to just 1 for me. And I swear on my life that this is exactly what happened. That tryout was for the 2014 practice team of the national championship UConn Huskies. 4 months after the tryout, after complete basketball inactivity due to having to catch up academically, I was still a good enough player to be a starter on the intramural championship against some of the practice team, and I was nowhere near my best, as 4 months of inactivity caused my skills to become extremely rusty, for my conditioning to be, not there at all, and just my general basketball, confidence to not really be there. But I was still a good enough player to be a starter for one of the top 2 teams at UConn outside of the national championship team. So for me to be able to get to that level that I was in college, in which, the UConn coaching staff, couldn't even give me a basketball reason for cutting me, where I played, for one of the top 2 teams amongst the student body outside of the national championship team, and where I was a Division III recruit. Just for me to get to that level, I wanted to be known that I worked a million times harder at basketball than every other thing that I've accomplished combined. A million times. Like, all of my energy was going to basketball, and me earning this and me having this level of skill was just my leftover energy, where I was just barely, able to have enough energy to get there. So I wanted to be known that just to be at that level, I had to give every ounce of my effort. But after college, I wanted to simply find out what my potential is. So I knew that if there's one thing that I could take away from, my abilities in college, it's that I don't have good, great, or elite athleticism. And that's huge in basketball, especially if you're, you know, a shorter or smaller player like myself. So, while working full time, I decided I'm going to find out what my potential is athletically while holding off on my skill. And there was no way I could get in schoolwork while working full time. And so every day after work, I would drive to the gym, eat my dinner in the car during hot summer days, and I was so tired because like that 8-hour shift lifestyle, that's just not for me, and it just takes a lot out of me because I'm just so bored by it and I feel like it's not really for me. But my point is that once, you know, I got in that car and I was about to go, the reason why I could always, you know, get myself to go no matter how great the pain was of feeling tired and, you know, not wanting to put in this tremendous effort once I go to the gym is because I want this so bad, and I have this strong, you know, resistance and resentment towards everyone that ever told me, like, you know, I can't make it in basketball. And so no matter what, I always went. And when I went to the gym, every single time I went to the gym, I didn't leave the gym until I broke my previous session's quickness record. And the reason why I focused on quickness for 2 years straight, 2015 and 2016, was because I wanted to just, I knew that was the most important, you know, athleticism tool. So I trained and trained. In trying to understand how to develop NBA abilities athletically, I prioritized quickness first, because if you can't get to the basket, you can't jump to finish at the rim. And if you can't create separation with your quickness on offense, you can't get the shot off. "2017 was the absolute year of my life, and it just came with all the extreme emotions from me thinking that it was going to be my last year to pursue basketball, and then whatever happens after that, it's either I make it as a pro or it's over for me. And it was also the year where I finally started putting all my skills together, because like I've said, after college in 2015 and 2016, I didn't touch the basketball. All I did was quickness training. And so it was rough at first putting the skills together and just getting the movements back. But ultimately, you know, after 3 to 4 months of full-time practicing and playing, I got all my basketball skills back, and I was just a completely different level player than I ever was at this point because of the improved athleticism. But when I still played against elite level competition, D1 and above, I felt like I could hold my own against them and compete well against them, but I didn't feel like, you know, I could athletically dominate. And I feel like I actually know that I was less athletic, but that it was just my will on top of my improved athleticism that let me just keep up with them. And so I did really well defensively, but when the D1 level players started really like guarding me hard, like that's when, you know, I realized, you know, I'm still not as athletic, if not more athletic than these guys. And so that's when I kind of realized, like, you know, you can work with all the numbers you want, but at the end of the day, there's a difference between, you know, reaching a number and then actually having the pure power and the speed. So reaching a number, it kind of means like it's like a trained movement, where I become really, really fast at a movement of, you know, going in a straight line, things like that. But pure power and speed is just like, okay, I'm just gonna dominate every time I play. And so I didn't have that at that time. But the reason why the year was so special to me was because I made the discovery. I made the discovery of how any man or woman can develop elite athleticism. And man, I don't know, it's just so emotional to me because crazy things had to happen for me to get to that point. It took me knowing everything about athleticism that was, on the internet, and it took, all of my experiences in applying what I already knew, and always thinking about it, and always, chasing after results with numbers. And it also required some luck because I got in a car crash in 2017, and I don't get in car crashes. I'm an extremely good driver, but this one I just couldn't see coming. And put all that combined, and I've definitely figured out how any man or woman can develop elite athleticism. And it wasn't all formulated to the point where it was simple for me, but it was in my head towards the end of 2017. And when I started applying the discovery, I could see the results quickly. My last time playing in 2017 was September or October, and I already talked about this in the previous video, but it was against a Division 1 player who professionally averages 30, 10 and 10, whose college coach publicly said that he has the talent to be in the NBA, and whose athleticism was one that I've never experienced as far as me watching play up close. Of course, NBA players have it, but other than NBA players, I've never seen athleticism of this caliber as far as who I played against. And after my matchup against him, that's when I stopped playing, because I was if I can do what I did against him, I know that me just continuing to apply, the athleticism training was the right move, because at the end of the day, once I get all my skills back, get in basketball shape, I'm so much better than I can ever imagine doing anything else, because I'm just focusing solely on athleticism to improve it as quickly as possible, and then I'm catching up skill-wise to the point where I get all my skill back and even get better. So with those two things combined, it was golden. So I was okay, so now that I've figured out how any man or woman can develop elite athleticism, and this is there's not even a shadow of a doubt in my mind, that's when I was okay, I gotta stop playing again, and then do that until I reach this elite athleticism, because I wasn't there yet in 2017 by any means. So I applied it for half of 2018 as well as the end of 2017, and then I ran out of money. And so when I ran out of money, I have no choice but to live in a car. And so I did what I had to do, and when I was doing it, I didn't think it was that bad. But I realized afterwards that I was just being strong, and it was tough, but it was fun for me, because I would never ever risk everything and live in a car like that if I didn't figure out the discovery to how any man or woman can develop elite athleticism. There's no way I would do that. It's because I know for a fact that I'm going to reach elite athleticism through the discovery that I made, that I was I'm willing to do anything at this point. Now I gotta go put all my chips in and go all out, because I know I can get there. And so, man, it was a few months, but I did what I had to do. I did a lot of abs, a lot of military presses, and I applied the discovery privately on my own without showing what the workout is. With all due respect, I gotta just be truthful. It's just the reality of the situation is I can't reveal what it is. The one thing that I quickly learned is that your nervous system gets completely effed up, no exaggeration, effed up if you apply this discovery. And so that was the one thing that I was dealing with. And lastly, I was like working on my body and foam rolling and stretching every single day because, I mean, what else am I gonna do? I have to pretty much be in the gym at night to stay safe until, you know, I shower in the gym with free trials and then get out of the gym. And then literally within 30 minutes I find a place and then just sleep in the car. And so that's what I did, and I'm very proud. I'm very proud of the fact that I endured that, and that, you know, what I learned is that when I look back, I'm such a positive person, because just how I was reacting to everything, I was never too much like down, and I kept a positive, upbeat spirit. And so that's something that I truly understand about myself now, is that one of the reasons why I always persevere is because I'm just a positive light. I just radiate positivity. Even though I am a grudge holder, I still, you know, radiate positivity. As long as you don't do me wrong, I radiate positivity. And the grudge holding is like, I learned that I'm still a good person despite that, because it's just my way to earn my fairness. So grudge holding is for when people, you know, say things that are untrue, that kind of goes against all the hard work that I'm putting in, and it's simply not a fact at all. So they're imposing false reality on me, and that's why I grudge hold extremely hard. Is because I'm compensating to create fairness for myself. So that's something that, you know, the wisdom that I gained from looking back on life. And one last thing I'd like to say is, like, so during all these years, I'm telling you, like, financially, like, I never really like was like, oh my gosh, like, what am I gonna do? Because I just believe that I'll just survive any situation, and that's exactly what I did. So that means that if I had to, you know, pay for my younger brother's piano, even though I knew I had to have that money, like, I did it because I had to be fair to him, give him his fair opportunity for one of his passions. If I had to pay for, you know, one of my friends that I owed, or whatever the case may be, I did what I had to do. And so my point in saying all this and just kind of going on a tangent is that I know I'm a truly, truly kind and fair person that tries to really be fair to everybody and be good to everybody, and it's just in my heart to do that. And dang, I hate to even probably sound like kind of corny, but I believe in my heart that when I play music and, like, just when I talk, it shows. Not everyone can tell, but I just believe that when I play, like, people say I play so beautifully, I just feel like it's my soul and the fact that I'm a really good person, and that's why my music sounds the way it sounds. And when I talk, I sound how I sound, you know, which is a positive person, I'm guessing. Actually, I kind of know. So that was a little tangent that I went off on, but after the living in the car, now it was like, you know, 2019, and in 2019 all I did was apply the discovery. But before I talk about 2019, I just want to say in 2018 I played one time, because this guy that I knew from college asked me publicly, like, oh, let's play. So I played him, I beat him every time, and I uploaded the video. That was just to test my skills out, but just the eye test showed me that the athleticism really shows, the improved athleticism. And then in 2019, I played 5-on-5 once in January, a really brief one-on-one once in February, and then I played one more time or two more times in July. So I played 4 times altogether in 2019, and that was just to see if the discovery and the improved athleticism is working. And I believe that it definitely was working, but I was working against certain conditions, you know, just being rusty, and my nerves being so fatigued, especially the one where I played in July. But also during, like, that year in 2019, I gained weight to about 186 pounds, and part of that is just me getting older and, like, putting on, like, weight and, like, a little fat, yeah, so that was pretty much it. And then towards the end of 2019, like in September, like my nerves were so shot from applying the discovery that I just had to take months off to try to like get my nervous system as close to back to normal as possible, because initially I just wanted to take 2 weeks off, but my nerves were nowhere near recovered after 2 weeks in September of 2019. And so I ended up having to take 3.5 months off, but those were some of the hardest 3.5 months of my life, because I just didn't expect the recovery to take that long. But that's the thing with applying a discovery, it's still new to me. I'm the first one to, you know, pioneer that path. So I learned that, you know, the nerves really take a hit and that it's going to take really long to recover, and I'm still dealing with it this year in 2020, where my nerves just feel so fatigued and it messes with my sleep, it messes with my mood and everything. But I try to still, you know, stay strong and, you know, not be too moody to, you know, my family during this quarantine, and still try to work through, you know, becoming good at the video making and whatnot. But as far as YouTube goes, you know, I just feel like I just, you know, use whatever energy I have left after my workouts to try to just, you know, put content out and kind of document what I do. And I understand 100% that it's not the most entertaining, because it's just like repetitive workouts and whatnot, and a lot of people don't really understand why I don't play more basketball. But it's just because I'm trying to improve athletically and apply the discovery and recover from all that as fast as possible. And so that's it. But ultimately, when I reach that elite athleticism, I will be playing all the time. So that's pretty much it as far as how long it's going to take before I reach elite athleticism. I mean, maybe, I don't know, I'm not going to even guess, but hopefully, you know, within a couple years. And I just have to maintain my body and maintain my health and try to stay as young as possible. And then once the elite athleticism is there, and then I go through what I did in 2017, where I put all the skills back in a few months, and then go even further with that, that's when everything that I've been putting in is finally going to show. And I'm still going to be young enough and close enough to my prime where I will forever have documents, footage of me, you know, at my peak athletically and skill-wise. And that's something that's extremely meaningful to me, and hopefully by then my YouTube will be so big that the whole world will know that there's an Asian that became good enough to play in the NBA, that is good enough to play in the NBA, and there's plenty of footage that at least warrants a tryout. And also an Asian that figured out how any man or woman can develop elite athleticism, because the proof is going to be there. And so, man, I can't wait for that day. But now it's just, I don't try to predict anything. I just try to take it one day at a time, knowing that it will happen eventually. I just don't know how long. So that's pretty much it. Let me know if you guys have any questions as far as, you know, why there aren't more Asians in the NBA, or anything that, you know, I've done through my basketball journey. And definitely leave a like if you liked the video. And if you're new, this is the best basketball channel, because I know how to reach elite athleticism. I know how to reach elite skills. I'm going to break down tons of basketball footage for Basketball IQ. And hopefully I can be, you know, funny and entertaining at the same time. That just sounded off, because I'm like saying stuff that's serious, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna try to be funny and entertaining too. Like, shut up. My bad. See, I go off on tangents. I don't know what's wrong with me. I gotta try not to do that, but it happens. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, peace. One key point that I want to make. One key point. So you guys might be saying, oh, you were playing at like a D3 level at max in college. So how is it that you're going to go from there to NBA level, right? The only reason why people can't comprehend how that's possible is because they don't see mediocre level athletes, as far as their athleticism goes, become elite level athletes. They don't see that because no one's figured it out. until me, because I discovered how to go from being average athletically to world class. Give me time to continue to apply the discovery until I get there, and I promise you, I will become world class athletically, and then when I put the skills together, I will be an NBA level basketball player.